I'd like to show you a method that I use to clean photographs. I do a lot of photo restoration, and I've learned a lot about cleaning photographs, and spotting is what I call it, getting the dust and the scratches off the images. The first thing that I usually do is I will put a grid on the photograph. So I'll activate a grid, and I make my grids 1 inch by 1 inch. And you can do that in the preferences under rulers and guides, and you can set the size of the square, because I like to work in a 1 inch square. So basically on an 8 by 10, and this image is an 8 by 10, you would put the grid up, and that gives you 80 squares that you have to clean, and it keeps me focused on an area, and it also lets me be able to stop if I need to and know where I am when I come back. So I usually just zoom in on a square, and that's where I start. Well, I'm just going to pick a square here. I usually start in the top left and just move along, but I'm going to pick a square in the middle so you can see the dust and the scratches. Right here is the 1 inch square, and you can see that it's filled with dust and scratches. So what I normally do, if I want to do an archival cleaning, in other words, I don't want to destroy anything that's there by a filter, I will use the spot healing brush. I will use it on normal mode. I will set the diameter to about 15. This one is 15. And I will use a content aware method of spot healing. And then I will go zoom in on that square, and I will start cleaning. And I'll just clean every single spot and scratch one at a time. You just click on it, hover over it and click, and you can just drag across it like that, and it will clean each one. And depending on how many scratches and dust particles there are on the image, how dirty it is, um, it will take anywhere from a couple of minutes to maybe 10 minutes to clean 1 inch, a 1 inch square on your image. So that's a long time. If you've got 80 squares to do, you can do the math. It could take hours just to do one, just to get your image clean before you can start enhancing it or restoring any portion of it. So when I'm on a deadline and it's not critical that they uh, be archival, I will sometimes use a different method, which saves me a lot of time. As you can see, I've cleaned, in a couple of minutes there, I've cleaned just a quarter of the square. So what I would normally do is do that all the way through the picture, and then save it, and then would come back and enhance the areas that need enhancing, like these areas where this mural is, and the Santa and the Merry Christmas and that kind of thing. But a faster way to do it is this. First, I would duplicate the background. So you go over to the background layer, and you right click on it and do duplicate layer, and it will give you a background copy, and do OK. And then you have two layers over here. The background copy is what I would work on. Then I would go up to filter, dust and scratch, noise, and then dust and scratches. And when you turn that on, a little information box comes up, and if you'll look, when you set the parameters, and mine is always set to a radius of 2 and a threshold of 0. I rarely go above 2 because it blurs too much. If you click the preview on and off, you can see that all dust and scratches does is give a slight blur to the overall image, which destroys most of the dust and scratches. They just go away. But the big ones, the large pieces of dust and dirt stay. But it saves you so much time because you only have to clean up a few images or dirt spots per square, and you can finish a cleaning of a picture in a fraction of the time. Now the other thing that I will do sometimes is, let's just say I've cleaned this and I'm ready to work on it, and I want to uh, bring back some of the detail that dust and scratches has done because of the blur. So since you're on a background copy, you can take an eraser tool, and because you have the background underneath and the background copy as a layer, you can erase the part of the picture that on that, and it will reveal underneath the sharper version of the image. So if I turn off the background, you can see that I'm on the layer above it, and I'm erasing the image there. And what that will do is actually give me a cleaner looking, and if I turn that on, that will show that through. Gives you a slightly sharper image there. So that's kind of a hybrid way to do it. You don't have to do it that way. Sometimes I don't do it that way, but when I want something to stand out and to bring back just the slight amount of detail that dust and scratches uh, obliterated when it was turned on, you can just erase that section of your picture, and then uh, if it has any dust and scratches on it, you get on that layer and clean just that section. So that's one of the ways and tricks that I use when I'm cleaning a photograph.